quarterback this week that's going to want to play, is injured. How do you weigh that against medical staff, his desire to play, and the importance of the game?
Yeah, I think, again, just going back to what Coach said yesterday, he's day-to-day, but he's feeling great. And if he's ready to go, he'll go. And that's where it's at.
What's it like during the week where you got to prepare for potentially having two quarterbacks? It might be Jalen, it might be Gardner. How does that affect your game planning and Nick's game planning?
Yeah, I mean, both those guys do different things. So we obviously have a plan for both going into it. And we've been preparing upstairs and obviously for practice and all those different things. But both of those guys bring unique stuff to the table. But we'll have a plan for both.
For most of the season, you've had a really good feel for play calling with Jalen as the quarterback. If it's Gardner, how do you try to develop that in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, I mean, Gardner's played a lot of football. He's a smart, competitive guy that understands the game. So if Gardner's out there, we got all the confidence in the world in him that he's going to go out and execute. And those conversations that myself and him have throughout the week leading up to the game, if he's the guy, then we'll be ready to go.
Is Jalen going to do anything today?
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep that stuff in-house, but he's continuing to work and getting better.
What's the challenge for a guy who hasn't played all year? Obviously, Gardner did it last year late in the season. Barely gotten any playing time, and all of a sudden in a game. How tough is that for a quarterback to do?
Yeah, I think it could be tough, but again, he's a guy who's had experience and played a good amount of football. And obviously last year, like you said, he came in against the Jets and played really well for us. So if he has to play, again, have all the confidence in the world that he can go out and compete at a high level.
How helpful is it that you've been around him for 2 years, you've gotten to know him, you've got to see him, to be able to develop a game plan for him?
Yeah, there's no question. When you're around people for a while, you build those relationships, you see what they do well, and then you go from there. So I think that's a big point. And just in the meetings, all those different things that you talk about, what certain guys like, what type of plays they like, what they're good at, all those conversations that have been had over the last couple of years. So it's been good.
Shane, what made you want to, I should say, Jalen, to have that volume of carries on Sunday relative to the backs?
I mean, obviously, you go into a game plan with your plan, and so I think I don't remember exactly how many carries he had. I think he had 6 or 7 maybe designed quarterback runs. He had 4 quarterback sneaks. He had some scrambles. Some of those things when you do the zone read stuff. I mean, you're reading the guy, so he could hand it off, but if they give him a pull read, he gets the pull read. So. You always have your plan going in of the amount of design runs, the amount of just handoff runs, and then whatever you think's working. Like as coaches, right, we want to be aggressive in what we do, and that's what makes him really good too. Is as a runner, he's really explosive to create the big plays like he's been doing all year. But we know that's a balancing act that we got to look at every week.
What are the teaching points for Jalen or any mobile quarterback when they are out of the pocket and running?
Yeah, I think it just, I talked about this earlier in the season. I think some of those guys have a natural feel of when to get down, when to slide, and he's been doing a good job of that. And I mean, the one he got, his shoulder on, that was the guy just landed on him. The weight just fell down on him. That was a defensive end that retraced. So that's kind of just a freak thing. But he's been doing a really nice job feeling the defender, when they're in his way, when to get out of bounds, when to slide, when to go head first, when to get the first down. He's been pretty good with that all year.
Your experiences with mobile quarterbacks, I don't know if you've had a great amount of them, but who are some of the guys that you've watched that were good at it? And has it been any, okay, hey, maybe watch this guy and how he...
You know what? I don't have a great answer for you for that. Okay. I think some of those guys just, again, have a natural feel for that, And then obviously if you're around a guy that does it a ton that doesn't have a natural feel, then you really want to study some guys that have a good feel for it.
How cognizant do you have to be in game? When you talk about the zone read stuff, sometimes they crash and maybe the quarterback's got to keep it a lot. Do you have to go to more inside zone? Do you have sort of a feel for that where it's just you hand the football?
Yeah, I mean, there's times where you have just called runs and run it, and then you also have times where, when the zone read stuff is working really well, that you want to take advantage of that. And so, I mean, when you have the element of a zone read, obviously you're +1 in the run game, so that gives you the advantage there in the run game a lot of times. So that's where we'll go from there.
Jonathan was talking about how Gardner stood out while running the scout team. Curious what you've seen in that respect, of what sticks out to you.
Yeah, no, he's got great presence when he's on the field, great leadership skills, all those different things. Guys respect him in the huddle, all those different things, and then just his accuracy and the way he can layer the ball and take some off and put some on. He's got a really good feel. He makes really quick decisions. He's smart, competitive guy. That's a good football player, and we're glad we have him.
Shane, we didn't see Ian Book in training camp. He wasn't here yet. What's he shown you? I mean, there's a chance he could be up for the first time. What's he shown you over these last few months?
Yeah, no, again, young player that's really smart. He can spin it really well. He's got good fundamentals, good technique, caught onto the offense really well. He's been doing a nice job, and he's continuing to grow.
A lot of times we see other guys pick up their game a little bit when a key player is out. Is that something that the coaches talk about, or is that just something players kind of understand and do on their own?
Yeah, I think with anything, like even when Dallas was out, it was like, hey, next man up mentality, and Quez was that guy that kind of stepped into that role to have those catches. And I think that goes for every position. Any time if a player's down, regardless of what position it is, the next guy's got to step up. And I think the great thing about our team is that everyone's, a tight-knit group and connected, and they fight for each other every single day.
What was the issue with the screens to Quez? I know they're probably built in for reads, for option reads for Jalen.
Just like the little bubble screens?
Yeah, I think he had 3 for 5 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Was it the math wasn't good out there, or what execution was the issue?
Yeah, no, I'll keep that. I can tell you that off the record. Yeah.
Lane Johnson hasn't given up a sack in a while. You've been around some right tackles, in your career. How does he stack up? What makes him the player that he is?
You know what? He's a tremendous, tremendous athlete, and he works his butt off every single day. And as a coach, you got to respect the heck out of that, the way he goes about his business, and the way he leads, and the way he fights, and the way he plays. He's the best tackle in the league, in my opinion.
It's a short week as it is, Gardner. Obviously, he was out of town yesterday. What type of communication have you been able to have with him?
Yeah, no, we were talking throughout the other day, just phone conversations, after the walkthrough and before the walkthrough and all those things. But if he has to play, he'll be ready to go.
Thanks.
Thanks.